How you can save 80% of your time and 10x your lead flow without hiring more SDRs or paying for expensive, outdated technology. If I had one wish, it would be for every B2B business owner to watch this video until the end. Because what I'm about to teach you will give your entire SDR team 80% more time to sell. So they can focus on your best fit, most likely to buy prospects. The skill that I'm about to teach you has helped book over 500 meetings and generated hundreds of thousands of revenue for my business and my clients' businesses over the last 8 months alone. That skill is using Clay.com to automate prospect research and personalization so your SDRs can focus 100% of their day selling to your best fit, highest value customers. Clay is used to create automated workflows that fill your pipeline with less manual work. In June 2024, they raised $46 million at a $500 million valuation from VC investors like Sequoia Capital. Clay.com is used by over 100,000 go-to-market teams like Notion and Intercom. Clay's 150 data points, web researcher, and ChatGPT-4 integration are used to replace your manual research workflows and lead qualification. So your SDR can spend their entire day selling, not doing manual admin-related tasks. Your sales team is wasting 80% of their time by not using Clay. This is costing you at least $50,000 per year in wasted manual work. If you can save 20% of your team's time or reduce your headcount by just one SDR, you're saving $50,000 to $80,000 per year. The average SDR makes $55,000 per year plus bonus and other hiring costs. Historically, an SDR team usually includes 3 to 10 reps hired to do outreach and prospect new customers. That means a 3-person SDR team costs $250,000. And that doesn't even account for churn related costs to backfill your talent. You're probably already aware that the average SDR's turnover is 34% annually, not to mention the monthly 5-figure cost of stale data and an outdated tech stack. Not only is the SDR expensive, but SDRs are spending 80% of their time working the wrong leads and doing low leverage work. This bottleneck process results in a cascading waterfall of negative consequences. SDRs miss quota, AEs miss their targets, the sales team misses on revenue. You get the point. The average SDR spends their day manually building lists in LinkedIn Sales Nav and Zoom Info, manually researching accounts, manually enriching email contact information, and manually writing personalizations. You can see 80% of the day is spent doing manual tasks. All time spent doing manual list building and writing personalization is wasted because it should and can be automated. If this is possible, then why are SDRs still spending all day manually prospecting? That's because they probably haven't heard of Clay.com yet or figured out how to use it. Clay has a massive learning curve and can take 90 to 120 days to learn. The good news, we've spent the last year in the trenches figuring out how to get results with the platform so you don't have to. That's why in today's video, I'm going to show you literally everything you need to know to get started in Clay so you can 10 times your lead flow without scaling up your SDR headcount or shelling out for bloated tech. Think of this as a Clay 101 masterclass. You can expect to go from knowing nothing at all to becoming a competent Clay operator so you can enrich, score, and deliver high quality leads to your SDR team so they can focus on selling, not doing manual data entry. By the end of this training, you'll learn the 6 ways to use Clay to unlock your SDR's bandwidth to make sure that they're selling to the best and the biggest leads. How to enrich, score, and deliver high quality leads to your SDR's pipeline so they can do what they do best, sell. That includes 3 workflows, 7 outreach playbooks, and a 20 prompt swipe file any B2B business can use to scale your go-to-market outbound program. And if you stay to the end, I'll give you 3 bonus cold email scripts that I have used to book 30 plus meetings per month. If you don't know me, my name is Isaac Wood. I'm the founder of levergrowth.io. We're a B2B lead generation agency working with B2B companies, VC-backed companies, and bootstrap service businesses. And over the last 8 months, my company has sent over 2 million cold emails, received over 1,600 positive intent replies, and booked over 530 sales calls. In that time, we've helped 32 B2B businesses create cold email campaigns that turn into 10 to 20 qualified calls every single month. The predictable revenue model is broken. This is the model that most outbound B2Bs have been running over the last couple decades, and it goes like this. You have SDRs and account executives. The SDR spends all their time prospecting and setting appointments with cold or inactive accounts. They reach out, determine if the prospect is a good fit, and then they hand it off to an account executive. Then the account executive works to close the pre-qualified opportunities that the SDR team passes over to them. In practice, it works like this. To determine this, sales leaders reverse engineer the number of meetings your sales team needs to book by analyzing your revenue goals, your existing pipeline, and average customer value. Then you hire a ton of junior SDRs to book those meetings. This means it's been a headcount game where hiring comes before all else. The problem with this model is that your cost to acquire a customer is extremely high. The average SDR makes $75K plus all other hiring costs. Churn is at 34%. The average 3-person sales team costs over $250K per year, and you can spend over $10K per month on tech alone. Now, let's consider the average SDR's daily workflow. In practice, here's what a typical day might look like. I know this because I used to be a SDR at a VC-funded startup. First, building lists in LinkedIn Sales Nav and Zoom Info, then doing manual account research, manually finding good fit contacts, then manually enriching those contact information for emails and for phone numbers. And then once they have that email information, spending 5 to 15 minutes writing an email, personalizing it. Then they'll go through SalesLoft or Outreach and call all their leads in the CRM. So what if there was a way to get your SDR teams to focus on selling to your highest value prospects while removing the need to do manual lead prioritization and data scraping? What kind of impact would 80% more selling time have on your pipeline? Do you think you could get even 50% more sales if your sales team had 80% more time of their day back to focus on super high leverage activities? I'd say it's probably a good bet. And if you agree, I hope you do, then let me explain. This is an opportunity for the new age go-to-market team. This includes a lean team of 1 to 3 SDRs and a Claycom operator. This new process will not only get more out of your SDR team, but will help you get results faster because your team can focus on their high leverage activities. Think of Clay as a workflow tool that can basically do all of the manual work by a VA or an SDR with 100% accuracy. The tool enables targeted prospecting at scale. Users can build their dream list with a fraction of the time and money historically required to do so. The efficiencies gained from Clay are absolutely game-changing. So here's how your SDR team and Clay operator actually work together. Your Clay operator automates research, list building, and hyper-personalized prospecting. They score and deliver curated best fit leads directly to your SDR. You set up triggers and filters to write hundreds of highly individualized emails. You dial in best fit enriched leads and deliver them directly to your CRM. Then your SDR focuses on high leverage selling activity. This means calling interested leads within 5 minutes, focusing on speed to lead dialing. That means warm calling leads that open emails within 5 minutes and creating connections with prospects, growing on social, and doing more social selling. Do you see how a Clay.com operator can create massive leverage for your SDR team to focus on what they do best, selling? If you aren't currently using Clay in your outbound workflows, then you're missing out on huge time-saving efficiencies, ultimately hurting your team's ability to hit their sales goals. That's why in this masterclass, we'll cover everything you need to know to get started in Clay. By the end of this video, you will be a competent operator and know exactly how to use the platform. Most people don't even know what is possible with Clay. When you think of cold email sequence, you probably picture a static email sequence with a standard data set. You run it through a verifier, you plug it in your cold email system and run it. That might have been true historically, but today Clay can help with 6 areas so you can redeploy your SDR force more effectively. Contact data enrichment. So historically, most businesses have relied on outsourced virtual assistants to augment the manual work required to find contact information for large data sets. Or you have your in-house team upload and download CSVs from over 6 different data providers just to get someone's email or phone number. A 5,000 person contact list can take over 5 hours to manually scrape and verify. Clay can help cut this time in half, meaning your team now has an extra 2.5 hours to actually sell. Clay can automatically and seamlessly pull information from over 50 data providers natively in the platform, scrape their website, and then infer information about an account with ChatGPT and their native integration, Claygen. Do this by using one or more data tools inside of Clay with just a few clicks of a button. Signals and trigger events. Using signals and trigger events like job changes are critical for writing personalized outreach, but is extremely hard to do manually at scale. Doing searches and copy and pasting data is ineffective and can take an SDR 10 to 15 minutes to complete per step. Assuming an SDR has 200 contacts to outreach to per day, and takes 10 minutes per contact to create trigger-based messaging, you can see how quickly the day turns into an admin research day and not a selling day. This can now be done entirely inside of Clay.com. Data syncs and data lookups. So say you're doing outreach to prospects, but you're not sure if this person is already in your CRM. You aren't sure when they were last engaged with, or you're not even sure if they are a customer or not. This research can take your SDR out of their workflow, requiring them to check multiple tools, which is ultimately inefficient. You can now sync with your CRM to know exactly where the prospect is in their customer journey. You can push or pull your data directly from Clay to your CRM or email automation tool in seconds. Message personalization. So looking up a prospect on LinkedIn, reviewing intent signals, making sure they're the right fit, and then drafting a personalized outreach message can take over 15 minutes. This research is now done using scraped data and a few AI prompts to get a hyper-targeted, relevant, and highly personalized message with a very high degree of accuracy. Task automation. So sequencers have been developed to push emails into a sequence automatically. There's still a lot of manual admin work to keep the data accurate. Clay simplifies this by enabling you to quickly scrape and verify lead lists, create personalization, and push into your email sequencer and CRM all inside the tool. Prioritizing human-related tasks. Assuming that you're doing outbound, getting engagement, and prospects are responding, there are critical next steps that require a human task, like phone calling and secondary follow-up. Clay can help prioritize the outreach list with automated lead scoring based on your specific criteria. This is without the need for any human intervention. Now that you have a sense for what is possible with Clay.com, let's get into the platform to show you how to actually use it. Everything you need to know about Clay to get started. Step 1, log into Clay. Think of Clay as a workflow tool that can basically do the work of a team of SDRs. So accessing your workspace, navigate to the workplace section, then go to settings and billings. Under workplace settings to manage your billing and set up your integrations. This will be very important if you're going to use APIs to integrate your data tools with the platform. While not necessary, this is very helpful to save on Clay credits. Then you want to create a new table. So access your workspace, select home on the left menu to navigate to the workplace section. Then create a new table by selecting the blue create new button and then select table. Working with your table. Most of your work will be done inside of the table view. Use the add enrichment button and the add column button for most tasks. We'll cover enrichments in more detail in a bit. In short, Clay has over 75 data enrichment tools, which you can use to find email addresses, do firmographic searches, scrape intent data, and more. Enrichments and recipes. Click Add Enrichment to enhance your table with additional data. Enrich data on a company level to find companies' open job roles, latest funding information, or tech stack. You can enrich the data on a persona level to find a person's social profile, email addresses, and phone number. Enrichments and recipes. So enrich data with tools inside of Clay or by using Claygen, its native AI scraper. You can also manipulate the data inside the tables to quickly normalize company names, create a formula, or look up and write to another table. You can enrich data using Clay's built-in integration with third-party data sources like Apollo, BuiltWith, Store Leads, Clearbit, HubSpot, email validation tools like Debounce, and much more. Bring your API key to use your own subscriptions credits, which can substantially lower the cost of using Clay. Use pre-made recipes if you have a relevant use case. These are workflows that come preloaded with multiple data enrichments to get a specific outcome, like finding a domain name, given inputs, and finding a company's LinkedIn page from a company name. Set up APIs. So set up your API for any software subscription you have to reduce your use of Clay credits. You have two options to set up your API connections. You can do it inside of your table or in your workplace settings. Here's how to do it inside your table. Search for your enrichment and then add your API key. Then search for your enrichment and add your API key inside of your workplace settings. Additional table functions. So use the merge columns function to merge multiple fields into one. This is similar to concatenate functions in Google Sheets or Excel. So merging columns is especially useful if you have a first name column and a last name column and want to combine the two into one field to enrich the person with email contact data. Enable auto deduplication to avoid duplicate entries when importing new data. Managing Clay credits. Turn off the auto update function to prevent unnecessary use of Clay credits. Visualization tools. Utilize the view graph function to visualize data within a table. This will show you how your different fields interact with each other and can give you more context into what enrichments you're actually running. Sources. Use sources to pull data directly into Clay. Navigate to Clay and then hit Create New and then Table. Then select your data source. We'll walk through the most relevant sources in this training. Company sources. You have Find Companies, which is to find companies from LinkedIn. You have Find Jobs, which will search for specific jobs based on titles and keywords and then enrich that company data. You have Google Maps Search, which is finding local businesses using Google Maps. Apify, so you can scrape large lists without the manual effort. You have Store Leads, which is targeting e-commerce companies. HubSpot, which is importing companies from your CRM. And then you can import via CSV, which importing a company from a CSV file. If you have something from Apollo, you can just import it directly and then start your analysis in there. People sources. So you can find people, which is just finding people from LinkedIn. You have Sales Nav, so you can use a URL from a Sales Nav search to find a targeted list. You can use a tool called Phantom Buster, which will scrape social platforms like LinkedIn searches. It can also help save with credits. You have GitHub contacts, so you can retrieve contacts from GitHub. You have HubSpot, which is enriching and scoring contacts already in your HubSpot CRM. You have Close Contacts, which is enriching and scoring contacts inside of your Close CRM. You can CSV import for people, so just import a list of people using a CSV, and then Google Search Operator. So this is using advanced Google Search Operators to find specific blogs or articles that you can then pull that data, enrich it, and use that for super personalized and targeted list building. Advanced data import options. So you have webhooks, and you can use these to pull data from sources that do not have a native integration inside of Clay. You can do a Apollo direct import, so pulling directly from Apollo. However, I recommend just bulk exporting out of Apollo in the first place and then importing that inside of Clay to save you a lot of credits. It's going to be much cheaper that way. Use Typeform. So if you're using Typeform to collect email addresses or other lead data, you can then pull that into Clay, enrich it further to create more targeted messaging. You can use Salesforce, pulling data directly from your Salesforce to enrich your existing CRM contacts. And you also have Airtable, which is similar, just pulling your data from Airtable, enrich those contacts. Using Apify. You can bulk scrape the web using different Apify actors like Google Maps scraping. This will take a little bit more technical skill, but can be especially useful if you would like to build lists with large data sets. Using RSS feeds. Subscribing to RSS feeds can allow a user to keep track of many different websites in a single news aggregator. This will constantly monitor sites for new content, removing the need for a user to manually check them. You can use this integration to regularly pull content from your own RSS feeds to automatically enrich data for your campaigns. Next, integrations. So once you've selected your data source and imported it into your new Clay table, you can now enrich your data with built-in integrations. These can be used as both a way to enrich your data and also as a destination. So for example, you can use Apollo, pull data from there, or you can send it to your sending tool. Next step, enriching and pushing data workflow. So here's an example workflow from data source to enrichment to final destination. First, you'll use a data source to find relevant companies. Once you have companies in your table, then you'll need to find people to reach out to. To do this, use the Find People integration and search for the relevant titles at the company. Then you'll want to enrich the contact information of those good fit prospects. Use an email finder enrichment like Find Email to get their valid contact information. Then validate the email addresses with the dbounce integration. Once you have your valid contact list, you can push your data directly into your sending tool like SmartLead. Introduction to integrations. In this module, I'll show you how to set up an integration. In most cases, the process is exactly the same. The reason why you would set up any integration is to sync data between your tool and Clay. As an example, let's assume you use HubSpot as a CRM. You can pull data from HubSpot to enrich and score or push data into HubSpot. You can also maintain a do not contact list to check against the list before syncing any data with your sending tool SmartLead. Some tools will allow for OAuth authentication, but most will be a standard API key. Setting up the SmartLead integration. So if you're using SmartLead, go navigate to your platform and then go to add an account for SmartLead and copy the API key from your SmartLead profile. Then authenticate the account inside Clay to complete the integration setup. Setting up the HubSpot integration. So if you're using HubSpot, navigate to the integration settings and select HubSpot. Click on add an account and follow the OAuth process to authenticate. Once the account is connected, it will allow you to sync data between Clay and your HubSpot instance. General integration setup. Most integrations will require you enter an API key. The process is the same for other tools like Apify and other integrations. Introduction to finding companies from LinkedIn. So one of the best data sources inside Clay is the Find Companies source. We'll start by finding companies on LinkedIn, then we'll exclude any companies that we've already done outreach to. It's important to note that this data is not native LinkedIn data. Clay uses a third-party data provider and buys their data in bulk, so there might be a slight bit of data degradation when using this source, but in general, I found it to be accurate. Starting the search. Navigate to create a new table in Clay and then select Find Companies as a source. Initial search setup. You can either start with a company search query, lookalike search based on a domain, or a keyword search based on the company's description. The lookalike search is similar to an Ocean.io search, but it is not quite as accurate. Still worth checking out to see your own results. If you're going to use lookalikes, make sure you're going to use Clay to filter out your results and ensure that your targeting is accurate. Excluding previously found companies. Use the Exclude Companies feature to avoid duplications from previous searches. Select your search filters. Select your target industries, company size, and any relevant keywords. Also select any exclusions that indicate bad fit. Then select Preview Companies and to see your results. You'll review and adjust your settings as necessary, and then import to new table. So you can import the found companies into a new table, or you can use an existing one if that makes sense for your exact use case. Enrich data. Optionally, add enrichments like full profiles, account growth, recent news, text app, and job openings. Adding enrichments will cost additional credits, but select continue once you've decided. Populating the table. You'll see data fields such as company name, description, industry, size, type, location, country, domain, and LinkedIn URL. Finding people at these companies. So create a new table for people by going back to create a new table for finding people at the companies from the previous step. Then select the previous built table company as the source. People search setup. So set filters for roles like owner, founder, CEO, and president, or your relevant decision maker. Use advanced filters to target specific roles based on keywords in their profile. like PPC, SEO, growth, whatever it is that's relevant. Importing people data. So preview the search results for people. Import the people data to a new table with a basic profile. Importing people data. We now have a list of relevant contacts, including their first name, last name, job title, location, company domain, LinkedIn profile. This is going to be very important to enrich their contact information, which we'll cover in just a bit. Adding and excluding companies. So to add more companies, you want to go back to your company search and add more companies while excluding those already found. You want to use the exclude function to ensure new searches do not overlap with previous ones. This is helpful to quickly replenish campaigns at the beginning of a new month. Introduction to finding jobs from LinkedIn. So another useful data source is using open jobs data to build your list. Open jobs indicate business need because they are hiring to solve a specific problem. You can use these open jobs as intent to buy. This process is similar to the find companies workflow. Setting up the job search. Go to find job source in Clay. Basic job search setup. Use a previously created table as a source for a job search. Use the exclude feature to avoid duplicate entries if you have previous job searches. Filtering job results. Filter jobs by specific titles and keywords. You can use job descriptions to detect technology that another tool might miss that could be relevant for your use case. Preview and import job data. Preview the job listings based on your filters, and then import the found job listings to a new table, choosing between basic or fully enriching those profiles. Understanding job data fields. So the table will include fields such as company name, title, location, the job posting's LinkedIn URL, and time of posting. Click into the result for fields like recruiter URL, recruiter name, and employment type. Using job data for outreach. So use the recruiter information to reach out directly to hiring managers or recruiters. Use specific keywords in job descriptions to tailor your outreach. So for example, you can say, hey name, I saw the job postings mentioned, job search keyword, and then ask some kind of poke the bear question, which is intended to get the prospect to think about their process. Importing and enriching data. So import job data to a new or existing table, or you can add enrichments to get more detailed profiles or company information. Goal of this workflow is to build out targeted lead lists inside of Clay. So what we'll do is build a list of good fit companies, enrich the person and company using their integration, find work emails using personal LinkedIn profile URLs. We'll build out some personalizations, like determining if the company is B2B or B2C. We'll determine what type of customers they sell to, and we'll find case studies located on their website. Building a list of good fit companies. So on my workspace, you'll select create new, then select table, then you'll select find company's data source and set your filters. Once you're happy with your filters, select import companies. You can choose to add enrichments using the toggle on import options. Again, this is going to cost extra if you don't have the API key. Then select continue for free. Here's your list of companies. Enrich person and company using the LinkedIn integration. So now we have a list of ideal fit companies. We'll want to find and enrich those contacts to do outreach to. Go back to my workspace and set up a new table, this time selecting find people. Under companies, select Clay table to find people from the table you just created. Select the table and leave the default settings. Then filter your ideal fit customer personas, select import people, then continue for free. Now we'll find work emails using personal LinkedIn profile URLs. So we've filtered down our list. We need to get their email addresses now. So we'll use any of the find work email enrichments to collect email addresses. Now you have email addresses to do outreach to. Building out personalizations. So personalizations can make a huge difference in terms of reply rates. They also help with deliverability because personalized messages are more unique and therefore less likely to get picked up by spam filters. Next steps are to create a few personalizations you can actually use. These are only limited by your imagination. These are just a couple examples, but just to get the gears and the juices flowing. Understanding if a company is B2B or B2C is important because if you're selling to a B2B audience, then you only want to target companies that work with other businesses, not consumers. You can then use this to call out the fact that they're B2B in your copy, or you can use this classification to score your lead for prioritization purposes. Use Claycom, which combines Google search with web scraping and ChatGPT for this one, and use the following prompt. So I have it written here. Scrape the web and the company LinkedIn description to determine if this company is a B2B or B2C. B2B companies sell to businesses, B2C companies sell to consumers. If they are a B2B, output B2B. If they are B2C, output B2C. If they are both, output B2B and B2C. If you cannot determine which, output cannot determine. Here's the company's LinkedIn description, and you include that. Determine what type of customers they sell to. So understanding this is important because it shows you've done your research and you can make your copywriting more specific to their actual situation. If you understand who they sell to, then you're also more likely to understand what they do, their value proposition, and the problems that they face. The overall benefit of this personalization is building rapport much more quickly. Use the ChatGPT integration with the following prompt. Based on this company description, who would be their main target customer? Describe them in at most 3 words. For example, restaurant owners or financial leaders. Don't include any other characters and give the answer in lowercase only. Here's the description. Build out personalizations. Find case studies on their website. So finding and calling out your prospects' case studies is another personalization that shows you've done your research. The overall benefit of using this personalization is to build rapport with the prospect by showing you've done an extra layer of research to actually understand them and their situation. You can use the Claycom integration with the following prompt. Find one case study for the following company. Here is their website. A case study is usually proof of success that a company can get results for other companies or people. Only look at the provided website, do not Google search elsewhere. It will be found on one of the following pages: our work or case studies or testimonials or past work or portfolio or projects or clients or reviews section. Do not return the name of the current company. Return just the name of one company that is a case study, or if you cannot find one, return none found. You now have a fully enriched list with 3 hyper-specific personalizations. A Clay credit saving pro tip. So if you want to save on credits and prevent accidentally running an entire column before you finalize your prompt, you can turn off auto update columns. This will save you a ton of credits, especially as you have to test new prompts to get your desired outputs. Goal of this workflow is to build out a Clay table with the following enrichments. So we'll find and scrape a list of good fit companies using Instant Data Scraper. We'll import your list into Clay. We'll enrich companies using specific technology. We'll enrich for company name. We'll normalize the company name. We'll enrich the company's niche industry. We'll enrich to find the target company's ideal customer profile. We'll enrich the company to find their company CEO, and then we'll find that CEO's valid contact information. Step 1, create your list. So use a bulk data source like Apollo. You could scrape web data from Crunchbase or Google Maps to create your company list. Using a niche-specific data source is going to be your best bet in terms of finding high-quality fit companies. To do this, scrape the data using Instant Data Scraper. Then bulk import your CSV into Clay. So once you have your company list, save it down as a CSV and select import companies from CSV inside of clay.com. Then enrich companies using HubSpot. So understanding the technologies used by a company indicates their potential to buy or need for specific solutions in the future. Clay has an integration with builtwith.com, which is used to find out what technologies websites are built with. You can find almost any relevant technology using BuiltWith, but in this case, we'll just use HubSpot. To do this, add the blue enrichment button at the top right of Clay, then select BuiltWith Enrichment. Then enter your prompt by mapping the correct company URL and include the technology you would like to search for. Save down and run your rows. Now you can filter out any company that does not use the relevant technology. Next, we'll enrich company description. So company description is a cornerstone data point in our enrichment process. We can use this data to understand the company's industry, their specific service offering, their specialization, their ideal customer, and more. This is a very high leverage enrichment because you can create an infinite number of personalizations using this data. Pulling a list from Crunchbase will include company description, but there are a bunch of ways you can do this inside of Clay. You can enrich a company description by using the Apollo enrichment via the API key. This requires the Apollo subscription. You can use the LinkedIn company enrichment, which Clay integration also exists, and that costs credits. You can pay someone to manually pull it, or you can use Claygen to find the data. And this again will use Clay credits, or you can use the OpenAI API. For this example, I'm going to use Claygen to show you how to enrich a company description. There's a couple ways to go about this, but if you have the LinkedIn company URL, you can have Claygen pull the company description directly from LinkedIn. I like to use this because the output is succinct and it gives a clear explanation of the company's service or product. You can also use the company's domain. You can test whichever makes more sense for you. To do this enrichment, add a new enrichment and select Claygen. Here's a prompt you can use to find the company description. So visit company LinkedIn URL and return the company description. The output should be the company description and nothing more. Normalize company names. When doing outreach, it's a really bad look to reference the company name in an email and have it show up like Apple Inc. or Microsoft Corporation. It immediately raises the prospect's resistance and indicates A, you really don't care about them or their company, and B, you're just sending automated mass messages. We normalize company names to solve for this. Here's a prompt you can use to start. So normalize company name by making it camel case, removing any Inc., LLC, GmbH, formerly. You can continue to add more variables that you want removed. Enrich company niche industry. You can use the exact industry the company is in without having to rely on broad industry filters like information services or marketing and advertising. This allows you to get super specific in your messaging or your filtering. If you can call out a specific niche in an email, then you're going to have a much better chance of the message landing with that audience versus a broad message. You can use Clay's integration with ChatGPT to create a prompt that returns the industry. You can also include industry exclusions if you want to avoid targeting industries you know are bad fits. To do this, select the ChatGPT Generate Text Enrichment and enter the below prompt. To test your prompt, scroll to the bottom of the enrichment pop-up and select Try on 5 rows free. Then you can tweak your prompt and ensure you get your intended results. So, based on result, domain name, and company name, give me the broad niche this company is in. The output should be less than 4 words and should only be the industry. Do not return things like the company is in, only return the industry. The output contains the words software development or manage IT services, then return NA as the value. Enrich to find target company's ideal customer profile. So now that we know the specific industry vertical of our target company list, let's do some research on their ideal fit customer. If you can correctly identify your prospect's customer, there's a higher likelihood they will perceive you as someone who understands their business. If they think you understand their business, you are more likely to solve their problems, which will help increase your positive reply rate. You'll just want to use the ChatGPT Generate Text Enrichment for this one. Determine the job title or type of customer that this company usually sells to, using the input as a guide for what they do. The input is this, and then include the company description. Who gets the most value out of this product and what is their usual job title? Give me up to 3 jobs or types of customers. Do not include any numbers or additional information. Return a comma-separated list of titles or types of customer. Let's recap. So up to this point, we've completed a company level analysis. We've found a list of companies on Crunchbase who are using HubSpot. Then we enrich the company data to get company descriptions to determine who our prospects sell to. Now we will use Clay to complete a web search to find the CEO of a company so you can do outreach directly to them. You must find relevant decision makers at the target company if you actually want to start a conversation with them. We'll use the Claygen enrichment for this step. So the prompt. Type into Google the domain name and CEO and give me the person's full name of the CEO as the output. If you can't find the CEO, search for owner, domain name, and give me the person's full name as the owner as the output. If you can't find the CEO or owner, search for domain name and then president. And give me the person's full name of the president as the output. If you can't find CEO or owner or president, search for domain name partner and give me the person's full name of the partner as the output. If you're struggling to find any contact, type in domain name, company name, CEO, founder into Google, and only give me one person's full name as the output, nothing more. If you can't find anything at all, or at least not 75% confident, put NA as the output. Enrich company to find CEO info. Let's do a quick Google search to test for accuracy. You can see here, it found Jeremy Burton. He's the CEO of Observe, and it came up first link on Google. Enrich CEO's valid email address. So a name is great, but we'll still need the prospect's email address to start our reach outs. With Clay, we can use multiple data sources as a waterfall to find the relevant contact information. To run a data waterfall, you will run a query across numerous data sources looking for the contact information. If the data isn't found in the first data provider, then a query will run for the second data provider and so on. This will help you max out your total addressable market and potentially even double your list size. Let's find them with Clay's email finding integrations. Start with Prospeo and then work your way through the other data providers. It's recommended that you use your API key if you're already paying for the data. Use your enrich name and company domain to get your results. Here's what your table will look like once you've completed your waterfall. You see different data providers. Some will find it, some won't, and then put it into the last column right here. How to score any B2B lead list so you can focus selling to only your best fit potential customers. Qualify your lead list better so you could save time, focus on best fit prospects, and improve your close rate without doing manual data entry. Cold outreach can be a massive channel for any go-to-market team if you know how to avoid wasting time on bad fit leads. You've been there. You hop on a call with an interested prospect only to disqualify them because they're not a good fit. It's the nature of sales that only a fraction of your total addressable market is a great fit to buy, but that doesn't mean wasting time with bad fits is a good use of your time. So what if there was a way to maximize the likelihood that every single call you hop on is going to be a good fit? That's where a lead scoring system comes in. Lead scoring is the process of assigning a score to a company or a contact to determine the likelihood that they will buy from you. Historically, this has been done manually by an SDR, or if you have a sales ops team, they will come up with a very basic scoring model based on criteria in your CRM or a couple data points provided in ZoomInfo or Apollo. Doing account and lead scoring is now extremely easy, accurate, and cost-effective to do inside of Clay.com, 100% automated. And once you've scored your list, your sales rep can simply check their account, score to see which leads they need to focus on. This frees up your team to focus on selling rather than trying to identify the warmest leads. ZoomInfo and Apollo fall short. So to build targeted lists, most of the time, databases don't give us enough to work with. Company level criteria is often self-reported and can skew results. For example, a company reports their industry is a software development company because they are building a software product, but they're actually a SaaS business. This means you could be missing out on an entire set of great fit leads that slip through the cracks simply because the company's data doesn't match your filtering criteria. It's now extremely easy and extremely cost-effective to do account and lead scoring inside of Clay. Why you should score your leads. So ZoomInfo, Apollo, Seamless, they're typically inaccurate to your exact ideal customer profile. Instead, we'll use Clay to replace a human who would do 2 times check across accounts, websites, and LinkedIn and mark if qualified or not qualified. Scoring leads allows you to focus on the best fit leads so your sales team has an outreach list teed up based on their score, which minimizes any admin time and increases sales productivity. So your team spends less time qualifying and more time selling to best fit leads. It also will improve conversion rates. So better fit leads convert at a higher rate because their needs are more aligned with your solution. Focus on the best leads. Your sales team should not be wasting time manually checking to see if their leads are a good fit. If they are left to guess, there's a much higher chance that some of the best fit leads are missed or bad fit leads slip through the cracks. This reason is why it's so important, because when your sales team has a clear goal and list, then they can free up their time to only focus on the best fit leads. Your team will never have any question of who to reach out to, nor will you have to worry about potential human error or having your best fit leads slip through the cracks. Scoring your lead list get your team to focus all their energy on leads that fit the exact criteria you need in order to get them to buy. Improving sales productivity. So when you have a clear prospect ranking, you never wonder where you should be spending your time. Think about it like this. Say you have one company that looks similar to another. They are both in the information technology industry, have 100 to 500 employees, and are growing their headcount. What really sets them apart? It ultimately depends on your situation, but let's assume you're looking for a company who has FB Ads Pixel, sells to sales and marketing leaders, and uses HubSpot. You can use Claycom and their ChatGPT 4.0 mini integration to assign scores for each of these criteria. Companies that have all three of these are a great fit. Companies with only one of these three are an okay fit. Spend more time on the great fit companies, less time on the okay fit companies, and no time on the bad fit companies. I'll show you how to do this in just a bit. When you have a hyper-specific target audience, you'll be reaching out to prospects who you know are a great fit. If every lead is a great fit for your service, then you won't be burning calories on bad fits, which will give you more bandwidth to go hard selling only to good fit prospects. So how to do lead scoring inside of Clay.com. Define your ideal customer based on your best customers. Think about industry, size, location, technologies used, company information, and title. Determine other niche criteria. For example, the company has visited your site, they filled out a form, they have a sales team of at least 3 people, they have a Facebook Ads Pixel, they sell to sales and marketing leaders, and they use HubSpot. Then assign a score to each criteria, and then test effectiveness. So review your results over time, and then adjust your scoring model to fit those results to make sure that the fit is accurate. For this example, we'll use these 4 lead scoring criteria: job title classification, management level classification, industry classification, and scoring leads based on this overall classification. Job title classification. So scoring leads by job classification means you'll only be reaching out to best fit titles that will resonate with your messaging. Someone who has content or brand in their title is going to have a completely different role, responsibilities than someone who is a CEO. We'll score the leads based on the presence of specific keywords, and in this case, we'll only want to reach out to CEOs or founders. Use an AI-generated formula. If job title contains CEO or Chief Executive Officer or Founder, output true, otherwise output false. Management level classification. So categorize based on leadership or based on what they are responsible for. This is easy if you already know what your audience cares about. For example, a founder or CEO is going to care about high-level business objectives, while a manager is more focused on tactics and is usually in the weeds. Knowing the differences will help you write better copy that speaks directly to their pain points. Use an AI-generated formula. For example, if title contains president or VP, output president. If title contains manager, output manager. If title contains chief or founder, output C-suite. If title contains director, output director. Create department keyword categories and continue to add keywords to fill every row. Filter by empty and keep adding keywords until your dataset is completely filled out. Industry classification using company LinkedIn description. So a company might be included as a marketing agency in your data source. But again, this is not always 100% accurate. You can search for specific keywords to further segment your list based on keywords in their LinkedIn company description or SEO determine fit. Use an AI-generated formula. If company LinkedIn description contains marketing or agency, output true, otherwise output false. Score leads based on classification. So now that we've created categories to score our list, we can use Clay's free lead scoring enrichment to assign scores to each lead to prioritize. We'll assign a positive or a negative score for each category based on if its result include a specific tag or not. Use score rows in Clay enrichment. Now your list is scored and prioritized so your SDR can start reaching out to the best fit prospects. Lookalike ICP outreach. Why it works. This is the bread and butter classic outreach playbook. This one works because you're targeting prospects who look similar to your best customers. Your prospects will trust you more if you can prove to them you can get their dream result with a lookalike case study, which ultimately increases your conversion rate. So to do this, select your top 3 to 10 clients based on revenue, engagement, or other metrics. Then you'll use lookalike tools like Ocean or Clay to create lookalike audiences. Then you'll score and qualify. So score these lookalike audiences based on the same traits and triggers used for your total addressable market. So for example, if your clients are mid-sized tech companies with strong online presence. Create a lookalike audience of similar companies and then prioritize those types of companies for outreach. Local business outreach. Why this one works. If you're targeting companies located in a specific area or you work with local businesses, by using this playbook, you scrape company level data directly from Google Maps. Then use Clay to enrich the data and use it for personalization, ensuring you're targeting the companies directly in the area your business services. So to do this, scrape the list of companies using the Apify Google Map Scraper or Outscraper and Instant Data Scraper. Then bulk import CSV into Clay as a company list. Then inside of Clay, you'll find people data source, and then you'll use your scraped company list as a source. Then search for relevant decision maker titles, and then you'll use Clay's find work email enrichments. Validate those email addresses using email validation enrichment, and then personalize based on Google reviews and or location, and then push your leads directly into Smart Lead. So an example here is if your clients are roofing home service businesses located in Florida, then you can scrape a Google search of all roofers in Florida, and then prioritize them, and then do your outreach. E-commerce outreach. Why this one works. This is for anyone who targets e-commerce businesses. By using this playbook, you scrape data from e-commerce database store leads and use the data to score and personalize your list. So scrape e-commerce data using store leads, then import CSV into Clay as a company list. Then you'll enrich data like customer reviews, technology, products they sell, niche-specific problems. Then you'll score those leads based on presence of key data points. Then you'll find relevant contacts at best fit companies, and then you'll do personalized outreach using scraped data. For example, if your clients are in health and wellness e-commerce brands, then you'll scrape a list of relevant companies, you'll score those leads, you'll find the contacts, you'll do the personalizations, you'll do the outreach. Software as a service or funded company outreach. So why this one works. If you're targeting funded businesses or SaaS, scrape data from Crunchbase or AngelList to find companies with recent funding triggers or specific industry filtering. So first, you'll scrape funded company data from those two data sources. Then you'll import your CSV into Clay as a company list. Then enrich data like customer reviews, technology, products they sell, and then other niche specific problems. You'll score the leads based on the presence of those various key data points. You'll find the relevant companies at those best fit companies, and then you'll do personalized outreach using some of that scraped data. So for example, if your clients are in B2B SaaS, use Crunchbase to find your ideal fit company, then enrich inside of Clay to find those relevant decision makers, and then personalize your outreach. Open role outreach. So why this one works. This playbook is used for recruiting agencies or any business who uses open roles as a trigger. This playbook allows you to find open jobs data and enrich that data with key decision makers to do outreach. So first, you'll open job search inside of Clay, enrich for relevant decision makers at companies with open roles. Enrich that data for recent company growth and the number of people currently in a department. Then you can score leads based on the presence of key data points. Use those contact information, enrich for contact emails, and then use the enriched growth data as your personalizations in your outreach. If you are an SEO agency, you can target businesses that have an open SEO analyst role. You can use the open role as intent for problem awareness and then slide in there right when the time is right. Intent audience outreach. Why this one works. This is one of the best ways to target prospects who have intent to buy your service because they are already consuming content from people who post about topics related to your niche. So use Expandy or Phantom Buster to scrape the engagers of posts from LinkedIn influencers in your niche. Upload a CSV if using Expandy or push into Clay via Phantom Buster's integration. Then enrich contact and company data inside of Clay. Map the full name, the company domain, and then enrich for emails and phone numbers. Then filter down based on your ICP and then personalize. So an example is target niche leaders in your ideal customer profile, scrape and filter their engagers, and then do outreach to anyone who fits that ICP. Inbound lead enrichment for any industry. Use your website visitor data as problem awareness intent. If your prospect is visiting your site, it is likely that they are at least interested in your service. Score your leads based on presence of relevant key data points to prioritize your outreach. So use Clearbit to identify and enrich the profiles of website visitors, then import a CSV of website visitors or set up the Clearbit API integration inside of Clay to push data directly into Clay as traffic visits your site. Then filter down based on your ICP and score your leads based on your best fit criteria. Then, using your filtered company data, use Find People data source to find relevant contacts. Then you'll enrich for email address and phone numbers, and you'll personalize. Example, ideal if a company visits your site, use Clay to find relevant decision makers and then do outreach directly to them. Find a company's strengths. So a use case here is speak to a company's value proposition in your outreach. The enrichment you'll use is Claycom. So here's the prompt. Using this company description, tell me one thing that company likely does very well for their customers. Format your answer as an action for example. If the example is good at building sandcastles, say building sandcastles. Keep the output under 4 words. Here's the description and then include the company description. Determine company industry. So the use case here is determine a company's industry based on its domain. The enrichment is Claycom. Visit the website of this company at company domain. And additionally, do general research on the web to determine its industry. Do not return anything else other than its industry. Find a company's customers. The use case is to scrape a company's website, and if it contains information about their current customers, it outputs a comma-separated list of up to 3 companies that use them. Your enrichment will be Claycom. The prompt, scrape this company's website for any mention of big name companies using their product or service. This information may be stored in images or be on their customer's page. If companies are found, output up to 3 companies in a comma-separated list. Otherwise, output 1 found. Here is the company's website. 10K annual report. So the use case is to find the company's 10K and provides a URL to the report. So an enrichment here is Claycom. The prompt is, you are a financial analyst and you need to find the company name, latest 10K report. Go to the website and find the link to the latest 10K report. Only report back the URL of the 10K report. List companies, products, and services. So this use case is scanning a company website and outputs all product services they offer. The enrichment here is Claycom, and so the prompt will be go to a company's website and find all the products and services that they offer. Output those services in a comma-separated list. Here is their website. Summarize pricing plans. The use case is to get a bullet-pointed summary of all pricing plans a company offers. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt is scrape this company's pricing page and summarize their pricing plan options. Output a bullet point list of each pricing option with information on the option. For each option, line in a bulleted list. Output the following comma-separated pieces of info. The name of the plan, its key offerings, and how much it costs. Here's their pricing page. Find names of a company's founders. The use case is to scan the web to find all of a company's founders. The enrichment here is Claycom. The prompt, find the name of any and all founders of this company. If there is more than one founder, output the names in a comma-separated list. Output just the name of the founder if single founder, or a comma-separated list of the names of founders if multiple founders, nothing else. Find when a company was founded. The use case is determine the year the company was founded. The enrichment is Claycom. Prompt, scrape the web to determine when this company was founded. Only output the year it was founded and nothing else. If you cannot determine when it was founded, output not found. Check if a company is running Google Ads. This use case is checking if a company is running Google Ads. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt is check if the company at this domain, company domain, are running Google Ads. If they are, output yes, otherwise output no. Determine if a company is a retail company. This use case looks at a company website to determine whether it's a retail company. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt, scrape this company's site to determine if the company with this domain is a retail company. If it is a retail company, then return true. Otherwise, return false. Public company revenue as USD. The use case here, looking at a company's website to determine its revenue. The enrichment is Claycom, and so here's the prompt. Input, here's the company to research. Objective, extract the explicit fixed annual revenue figure for the fiscal year 2023 for a given company. Convert it into a full numerical form and ensure it is represented in USD. Instruction, search specifically for an explicitly stated 2023 annual revenue figure in fixed amounts. Disregard any percentages or growth figures. Ignore any revenue figures that are described in terms of growth or percentage increases. Only use revenue figures explicitly labeled with a monetary value for the year 2023. Convert any monetary values into their full numerical representation and ensure all figures are converted to USD using the current exchange rate, reported as that number if the exchange rate is 1.05 USD per euro, using the current exchange rate. If no explicit fixed revenue figures for 2023 is found, then return 0. Normalize company names. So the use case, normalize company names so they can be used in emails. You can use Claycom to do this. The prompt is take this company name and normalize it so it can be used in an email. Cut out unnecessary elements so it doesn't sound like it's been pulled from a data source, but rather that you know the company. Cut out elements like corp or other things that sound too formal. Job title the company sells to. So understanding exactly which title a company sells to makes the prospect believe you understand them and their market, which sets you apart from the hordes who hop on calls with no idea about the business they're speaking with. The enrichment, Claycom, and then the prompt is using this company description, tell me the typical name of company names, customers. Format your answer as a plural noun. For example, if the company works with families, say families. Keep the output under 2 words and always use a noun. Here's the company description. Find a person's LinkedIn URL. So find a person's LinkedIn URL based on their name, job title, and company. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt is find the LinkedIn profile for the following person. Full name, who is job title at company name. Make sure the LinkedIn profile you find is the correct person. Only return the URL of the LinkedIn profile as a final response. For example, LinkedIn profile. Find a company's CEO's LinkedIn. This scans the web to find the URL of a company's CEO's LinkedIn profile. The enrichment here is Claycom. The prompt, given this company, find their CEO, then find their CEO's LinkedIn profile. If found, only output the CEO LinkedIn profile URL. If you cannot find it, output none found. Determine a person's skill set. The use case is scraping a person's LinkedIn to identify their top abilities. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt, scrape this LinkedIn URL and output a comma-separated list of their top quantifiable skills. You can list up to 5 of their top skills. Find where a person is located. The use case is scraping a person's LinkedIn to determine where they are located. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt, scan this LinkedIn profile to determine where this person is located. Only output the name of the city where they are located. Output not found if you cannot find the information. Find a person's company's domain. So the use case is to find a person's company domain using their LinkedIn. So the enrichment here is Claycom. The prompt scrapes this person's LinkedIn in order to determine the domain of their company. First, determine their current company, then determine the domain of that company. Only output the domain. Find an event a person has attended. The use case is to scrape a person's LinkedIn for an event or conference they have attended in the last 12 months. The enrichment is Claycom. The prompt, visit the following LinkedIn and return the name of an event or a conference that the person has attended in the past 12 months. This may be found in recent posts or elsewhere on their LinkedIn. If none are found, then return none found. Find all companies in a particular industry a person has worked at. So the use case here is scraping a person's LinkedIn for companies they've worked at in a relevant industry. The enrichment here is Claycom. The prompt is given this LinkedIn profile, determine all companies this person has worked for in this industry. Output the companies in a comma-separated list. Hey, first name, I saw your leading business segment, so I'm sure you care about problem your offer solves. We're helping target vertical companies like case study generate result in time frame. Are you interested in seeing a case study showing how we did it? If we can help you achieve a specific result without icky bad thing like we did for case study, would you be interested in speaking? Hey, first name, we're currently helping case study achieve result. We've helped vertical and time frame, so we can help you achieve result without bad thing 1 or bad thing 2. If I could help you achieve result, would that be worth a 5-minute chat? If you'd like to see if we could help you set up a cold email flow along with all of these Clay workflows that I described in this video, I encourage you to go to my website, levergrowth.io, book a meeting with us, and we'll see if we can help you out. If so, we'll talk about how to actually get started. But if you also want this document that I went through in this video, I've included that link in the description below. Download it. It's for free. Hope you get some value from it. I will see you in the next video. Peace.